Someone cuts you off in traffic, small thing. But your heart's racing, you're gripping the wheel. Maybe you say something you wouldn't repeat out loud. You get home. Your partner says one thing in the wrong tone, and you snap. Evening ruined. And 20 minutes later, you're sitting there like, why did I do that? Most people just accept it. I have a short fuse. It's just who I am. People need to stop pushing my buttons. But anger isn't your personality, it's a pattern, and patterns can be broken. In this video, we'll cover 5 things. How to understand your anger, what's actually triggering it, what to do in the moment, how to fix the root so it stops running your life, and what actually works. Let's get into it. Part 1. Understanding your anger. First thing you need to know. Anger is not the problem. Anger is a signal. It's your brain telling you something feels wrong. Threatened, disrespected, overwhelmed, unsafe. That signal isn't broken. It's actually useful. The problem isn't the anger itself. It's what you do with it. Think of anger like an iceberg. What people see, the yelling, the snapping, the shutting down, that's just the tip. Underneath it, almost every time, is something else entirely. Hurt, fear, shame, feeling unheard. The guy who blows up at his kids when he gets home isn't actually angry about the toys on the floor. He's exhausted. He felt powerless at work all day, and the toys were just the last straw. The anger is real, but it's covering something deeper. There's also a difference between healthy anger and destructive anger. Healthy anger says, something is wrong here, and I need to address it. It's controlled. It communicates. It solves something. Destructive anger just explodes. It damages people. And then it leaves you with guilt on top of whatever you were already feeling. One protects you, the other isolates you. So before you can fix your anger, you have to stop treating it like the enemy and start treating it like information. Ask yourself next time it hits, what is this actually about? Because once you can answer that honestly, everything else gets a lot easier to work with. Part 2. Know your triggers. Here's something most people get wrong about anger. They think it comes out of nowhere. It doesn't. There's always a buildup, always. It just happens so fast or so quietly that you miss it. By the time you explode, you've already been simmering for hours, sometimes days. Triggers are the specific things that reliably set you off. And they're different for everyone. For some people, it's feeling disrespected. For others, it's being ignored or losing control of a situation, or someone questioning their decisions. Some people are fine all day, and then one particular tone of voice from one particular person just flips a switch. You probably already know yours, but you've never sat down and actually named them. So here's what I want you to do this week. Keep an anger log, nothing fancy. A notes app on your phone works fine. Every time you feel anger spike, write down 3 things. What happened? What you felt underneath it. Remember the iceberg. And how you responded. Do that for 7 days. Patterns will show up fast. Maybe it's always when you're hungry or sleep deprived. Maybe it's one specific person. Maybe it's situations where you feel out of control. Once you see the pattern, you're not reacting blindly anymore. You're working with information. Knowing your triggers doesn't mean avoiding them forever. It means you stop being ambushed by them. And that's when you can actually start choosing how you respond, instead of just exploding and cleaning up the damage after. Part 3. In the moment tools. Okay, so you're triggered. It's happening right now. Heart rate is up, jaw is tight, you can feel it rising. What do you actually do? First, your body needs to come down before your brain can think straight. When you're angry, your nervous system is in fight mode. You literally cannot reason your way out of it while that's happening. The fastest way to interrupt it is your breath. But not just any breathing, you want a longer exhale than inhale. Breathe in for 4 counts, out for 6 or 8. Do it twice. That's it. It feels too simple. It works anyway. Before you respond to whatever set you off, wait 10 seconds. Don't say the first thing that comes to mind. Don't send the text. Don't reply to the email. 10 seconds of silence feels uncomfortable. It's supposed to. That discomfort is you choosing not to react. And that choice is everything. If you can, move, leave the room. Splash cold water on your face. Unclench your fists, drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw. You're probably holding tension in your body and you don't even realize it. Physical state drives emotional state. Change one and you change the other. This one sounds strange, but it's backed by research. Just say, out loud or in your head, "I'm angry right now." Naming the emotion activates the rational part of your brain and takes power away from the reactive part. It creates just enough distance between you and the feeling that you can make a choice instead of just reacting. One thing I have to mention, punching pillows, screaming into a towel, venting it out. A lot of people swear by this. The research says it actually makes anger worse. You're rehearsing the emotion, not releasing it, so skip that. These tools won't make you a calm person overnight, but they give you a gap, a small window between the trigger and your response. And in that window is where everything changes. Part 4, long-term fixes everything we've covered so far. Understanding anger, knowing your triggers, in-the-moment tools, that's all real and it works. But if you only do that, you're managing anger. You're not fixing it. Fixing it means going after the root. And honestly, for a lot of people, the root isn't even psychological. It's physical. Sleep deprivation is one of the biggest drivers of anger that nobody talks about. When you're underslept, your emotional regulation is shot. Your fuse is shorter. Everything hits harder. Same with exercise. Regular movement burns off the stress hormones that build up and make you reactive. And nutrition, blood sugar crashes, too much caffeine, not enough water. All of it affects your baseline anger threshold more than most people realize. Before anything else, sort those out. It sounds boring. It makes a massive difference. But sometimes the root goes deeper. Unresolved stress, old patterns from how you grew up, relationships that consistently make you feel unheard or disrespected. If your anger keeps coming back no matter what tools you use, that's your sign that something underneath needs attention. Therapy is worth bringing up here, not because something is wrong with you, but because a good therapist, especially one trained in CBT, can help you identify patterns you genuinely cannot see on your own. Anger management programs work too. There's no shame in either. Here's something that keeps a lot of people stuck. After an outburst, the guilt hits. And guilt feels productive, like you're punishing yourself so you'll do better next time. But it doesn't work like that. Guilt without change just adds another layer of bad feeling on top. And that bad feeling, it feeds right back into the anger. Self-compassion isn't letting yourself off the hook. It's refusing to make things worse by beating yourself up. Acknowledge it, make it right where you can, and move forward. If your anger has damaged people around you, and if you've had real anger problems, it probably has, that needs direct attention too. Not a general, "Sorry, I've been stressed lately," a real conversation. Acknowledging specifically what happened and what you're working on changing. Trust gets rebuilt slowly, but it does rebuild if your actions back it up. Long-term change isn't dramatic, it's just small decisions made consistently over time. Better sleep, moving your body, addressing what's actually wrong, being honest with the people you've hurt. None of it is complicated. Most of it just requires you to decide you're done letting anger be the default. Part 5. What actually works. Let's cut through the noise for a second, because there's a lot of advice out there about anger, and a lot of it is either outdated, oversimplified, or just flat out wrong. So let's talk about what actually works, and what doesn't. You've heard this one. Just let it out. Punch a pillow. Scream in your car. Vent to a friend for an hour. Feels good in the moment, right? Here's the problem. Research consistently shows that venting doesn't release anger. It rehearses it. You're not emptying the emotion, you're refilling it. Every time you replay what made you furious, you're making the neural pathway stronger, not weaker. Vent occasionally to process something. Don't use it as a strategy. The opposite extreme, just swallow it. Don't react. Pretend it's not there. Also, it doesn't work. Suppressed anger doesn't disappear. It builds. It leaks out sideways, in passive aggression, in resentment, in physical tension, in suddenly exploding over something tiny 3 weeks later. You can't think your way out of an emotion you haven't acknowledged. So what does work? Processing. Not venting, not suppressing. Processing. That means naming the emotion, understanding where it came from, addressing the actual problem underneath it, not just the surface trigger, and then letting it move through you instead of either amplifying it or bottling it. That's it. That's the whole game. Here's the mindset shift that ties everything together. Most people treat anger like an enemy to defeat, something to suppress or apologize for, or white-knuckle your way through. But anger is just energy, misdirected energy. And energy can be redirected. The goal was never to become someone who never gets angry. The goal is to become someone who knows what to do with it when it shows up. That's the difference between someone who's controlled by their anger and someone who's in control of it. And that's learnable. That's the whole point of this video. So let's bring it all together. Anger is not your personality. It's a pattern. And every pattern has a structure you can learn, interpret, and change. You now know what anger actually is. A signal, not a flaw. You know how to identify what's really triggering you. You have real tools for the moment it hits. And you know what long-term change actually looks like. And what it doesn't. None of this happens overnight. You're going to slip. You're going to have a bad day and say something you regret. That's not failure. That's just part of the process. What matters is that you keep coming back to it. Small decisions made consistently over time. That's what actually changes a person. If this video helped you, even just one part of it, share it with someone who needs it. You probably know at least one person who does. Drop a comment below telling me which section hit hardest for you. I read them all. And if you want to go deeper on any of this, emotional regulation, communication, breaking old patterns, subscribe. That's exactly what this channel is about. You're not too far gone, you're just not done yet. I'll see you in the next one.